Hello there guys, welcome back to Blues Fans TV for another Premier League match preview of mine as Chelsea are to take on Sheffield United away from home tomorrow on Saturday, with the kickoff being at 5:30 PM UK time. And at the moment it really is one big game after the other. Not necessarily because of the opponents, but because of the situation in the table. Yes, we're in a good position by being third now, but we need to keep winning, especially against teams like Sheffield United. We just have to keep winning if we want to be in the Champions League next season. We just cannot afford any more slip-ups. We had that one slip-up we could afford against West Ham already. We can't afford it anymore now. But if you are new to Blues Fans TV, let me remind you, please do subscribe. We just hit 100,000 subs, but we're on the road to 200,000 subs. So any new subscriber counts, as long as it may take, any new subscriber counts. So if you're new here, please do subscribe and tell your mates to subscribe as well. That'd be massively appreciated. And also, make sure you drop a like on this video, genuinely. It doesn't take much time up at all, does it now? It doesn't cost you any money, and it would help us out a lot. So please do smash that like button down below. We'd honestly massively appreciate it. But enough waffling. Let's just get into the game and let's get into talking about the game, I guess. And at the moment, even though the Palace game was very nervy, we have a pretty set lineup, don't we? But after so many games already after the break, and both Kante and Billy Gilmour, we'll get on to Billy Gilmour in a minute, being injured, does Lampard have to start rotating now? Or do we have to go all guns blazing to secure top four and just risk another couple injuries by keeping, the best team on the field, really, for pretty much every game at the moment? It's a tricky one. So let's get into the team I would personally pick for tomorrow's game. For me, of course, Kepa has to stay in the side. The two centre-backs, for me, still have to remain Andreas Christensen and Kurt Zouma. You could argue Christensen's mistake for the second goal is enough to drop him. But at the end of the day, I personally just believe that him and Kurt Zouma are a better combination of abilities than if you put Rudiger next to the Frenchman. Also, rather surprisingly, Christensen actually wins more aerial duels than the German does anyway. Okay, that could be slightly swayed because Rudiger, if he plays with Christensen, usually is the one that goes into the difficult aerial battles. But still, it is a surprising stat. And like I said, I just believe, their abilities just combine better than Rudiger's and Zouma's. Then coming to the fullbacks, I believe Reece James should probably stay at right back. He is struggling after the break, but I feel like he is finding his feet a little bit more now. And with the blades being very flexible and fluid in their positioning, I also think they would just make Alonso look like a mug. And also, to be fair, Reece James' strength could be very helpful against a very physical team in Sheffield United. And then, of course, at left back, it has to remain Aspie. He's pretty much undroppable at this point. But then coming to the DM, and because now it's not only N'Golo Kante that is injured, he's still injured, by the way, not going to make the squad for tomorrow. Now also Billy Gilmour is injured. And somehow, he actually picked up a very serious knee injury with some sort of ligament damage. We don't know how it happened. We don't know what the exact injury is. But it was a knee injury that has actually required surgery this morning. And according to Frank Lampard, will keep the boy out for 3 to 4 months. So firstly, and most importantly, Billy, I'm absolutely gutted for you. And I wish you the speediest and just best possible recoveries, really. And I just hope to see you back on the pitch as soon as we can. Great player, great kid. So I just hope to see him back as soon as we can. We knew about the injury yesterday already, but we didn't know the severity of it. And honestly, it was tough to hear Lampard speak about it today. It was very tough. But there are, I guess, some positive injury news as well. And that is that Mateo Kovacic is back from injury and is part of the squad. By the way, Tomori is getting fit, but just on the verge and not quite fit enough for this game. Hence why I didn't mention him for the centre-backs. But Kovacic is back. But still, to me, it now simply has to be Jorginho that starts in the DM, the number 6 role. I don't see Kovacic as the sole number 6. I'm sorry, I just don't. He's worse defensively than Jorginho. That is just factual. And I know, he's much quicker than Jorginho is. I get that. And that is important with how we're trying to play at the moment with the two attacking number 8s in front of the number 6. But we wouldn't consider Hudson-Odoi playing in DM either just because he's fast now, would we? Of course, it's a slightly swayed and dodgy comparison because, Kovacic is still in midfield that can do things. But I just believe, his best attribute is dribbling and carrying the ball forward. You can't do that as the sole number 6. And he's not that great defensively. He tries very hard with his tackles, but they're not that good. They're not that good. And it is frustrating sometimes. And I don't really want to see him as the sole DM. Some people might disagree, but I don't personally really want to see it. I just really hope that Jorginho can perform similarly to his cameo appearance at Palace on Tuesday, because that was brilliant. I just really hope he can perform like that. But then coming to the two attacking number 8s ahead of him, as you know, I would have loved to rest Ross Barkley against Palace on Tuesday and then played him again today. But I don't really want any more injuries in midfield now, do I? So I'd actually start Ruben Loftus-Cheek in that right centre mid spot, even though I don't think Frank Lampard will. I just think it makes sense. I would have preferred to start him against Palace with the kind of opponent and kind of team it was, but that wasn't to be. if Barkley's fine, and I think, Lampard will go with Barkley, fair enough, and then possibly start Ruben against Norwich. But, personally, I just want to see Ruben, and then just bring Barkley on for him after 55, 60 minutes. Why not? Do you know what I mean? Why not? Of course, Mason Mount has to stay in the team. He's just too good and too important at the moment to be dropped. And as long as he's fit to play, he should keep playing. And kind of the same goes for both wingers. Pulisic on the left, Willian on the right. They just simply cannot be dropped at this moment in time. And I just think we have to hope that they both stay fit and don't get injured, because they're both too good to be dropped for either Hudson or Pedro right now. That just shouldn't be the case. Even for rotational purposes, they just have to keep playing. And up front, Tammy Abraham got his goal, and that was great. But personally, I would still start Olivier Giroud up front tomorrow and bring Tammy on in the second half. I think at the moment that is a good way to go about it. But then, that is the team that I personally would pick tomorrow. And now on this side of the screen, you will see the team that I will predict, or that I am predicting Frank Lampard to field. Of course, the back five won't be all too different. Still Kepa in goal. Rudiger, though, I think will come into the team for Andreas Christensen. I just believe that he might bring him in because on paper, even though, like I said already, the stats say different things, Rudiger is better in the air, but more importantly, he's much stronger. And against a physical team like Sheffield United, that could be very, very important. So I guess it makes sense from that point of view, and I wouldn't exactly be annoyed or angry if Rudiger comes into the team for Christensen. But like I said in my team already, I just believe Christensen and Zuma together is a better combination of ability than if you bring Rudiger into the side. The fullbacks, I do think, are the same as I'm basically predicting in my team, with Reece James on the right and Aspi on the left. Although I do see a small chance of Alonso starting, mainly for the height reason. And then, of course, move Aspi over to the right, but I hope not. And like I said already, I just think they would, make Alonso be dizzy with how much positional changes Sheffield United do. I will touch on it a little bit later. I just don't think Alonso is it for that game. But, we'll just have to wait and see what Frank Lampard does. But then coming to the DM role, I just have this feeling that Lampard will go for Kovacic. I have this feeling, honestly. I just do have this feeling. So for the pace reason, I think he might start Kovacic. I just have that feeling. I hope he stays as disciplined, though. Or I think Lampard will also hope that Kovacic will stay disciplined enough and not go on these mad dribbles and just be acceptable, at least defensively. But I'm not sure. I mean, he might well go for Jorginho as well. But it's just this feeling I've got that he will go with Kovacic, and I'm not a big fan of it. I just don't think it would be the best idea to go for. I could be wrong. It could be wrong. Even under Sarri, Kovacic only played there like once or twice maybe, and sometimes only towards later on in games, for example. And under Lampard, that hasn't been the case for him at all. I just think Jorginho is more suited to it. I'm still not 100% sure who I think he will pick in that role. But coming to the two attacking eights, well, I don't think he will rotate there at all. I think Barkley and Mason Mount will stay in the team, but possibly bring Loftus-Cheek on for either of them, even earlier than in the last few games, maybe around the 55th or 60th minute. And to be honest, the same goes for the front three. I don't think he will rotate them either. Pulisic staying on the left, Williams staying on the right, and Giroud, of course, starting again up front. And that is the team that I'm predicting Frank Lampard to pick. And in general, I'm expecting a difficult game. Palace gave us a slightly different game to what I expected, being more aggressive in the press, and it will be very interesting to see how the Blades actually approach the game. But in general, I expect a different game to most others, actually, at least when they're in possession, because of what a crazy system they play, which I will touch on again in a second. But when we're on the ball, it will almost certainly, by them, just going to be a back five with a midfield three in front of that, and it will just be about us breaking them down while not allowing them easy counter-attacking opportunities. And at this moment in time, we know the system Lampard is going to use now. We know it's the 4-3-3 with the sole DM and the two attacking number 8 with a lot of movement and hopefully scoring a lot of goals. So there's no point talking about it in more detail because it's the same as ever. But also, the same as ever is really important. Movement, quick passing, being clinical, and of course maximum concentration for the entire game for once. We had it almost against Watford, kept a clean sheet regardless because of a good Kepa save in the end. And against Palace, it was nervy again. Just stay concentrated. Don't make these mistakes and don't cost us silly goals that we might not always be able to outscore your opponent from. And, it's just going to be important. But this time, I also believe that being aggressive and being as physical as we can be might actually be a key or the key to a good result in this game. So, as I said, that, being aggressive and being physical is important against a team like Sheffield United. Let's talk about them. They currently sit in 7th in the table on 51 points, meaning a full 9 points behind ourselves, Chelsea. And first of all, fair play to them. I mean, they're a promoted side and they're fighting Wolves, Arsenal, Tottenham, and I guess Burnley as well for Europa League qualification. That is ridiculous for a promoted team. And they're just doing a really, really good job. They have this crazy system, which I spoke about in my preview all the way back in August of last year before we ended up drawing 2-2 against them at Stamford Bridge. They have the system with the overlapping centre-backs. Yes, if you didn't watch that preview, if you don't know about this, yes, overlapping centre-backs in a 3-5-2 formation, along with their manager, Chris Wilder. It's a brilliant story. And like I said, brilliant season for them. but hopefully a poor performance against us tomorrow. But like I said, not just a good performance this season, they're also just a good team. Really, really good defensively, with the joint third least amount of goals conceded. But to be fair, also by far the least amount of goals scored in the top half of the table, with only a goal difference of +3. So, you know, good on the one end, not so good on the other end. So certainly tight games are almost guaranteed when you play Sheffield United. Although since the restart, their form has been a bit strange. A 0-0, you know, draw with Villa to start with, although the Blades were a bit unfortunate, or very unfortunate, with a ridiculous goal line / VAR decision, or VAR decision. But then it really went a bit downhill from there. An embarrassing 3-0 defeat to Newcastle. You know, where they just looked awful, especially defensively. Then another 3-0 defeat to Manchester United. Then a cup exit of the FA Cup after just making it 1-0 in the 87th minute and then letting Arsenal score a silly goal just 3 minutes later for Arsenal to win 2-1. That was obviously frustrating for them, and I guess everyone else, because everyone wants Arsenal to be knocked out. But then Sheffield United's form did pick up. Okay, Spurs aren't exactly great, but still, they beat them 3-1. Then an acceptable draw with Burnley. And then in the last game, a very, very good last-minute win over Wolves, in which the Blades were actually the better team as well. So in the end, you could say a deserved win. Surprisingly, they're actually not the greatest at scoring from set pieces, which, you know, considering they have a lot of tall players, a lot of strong players, I was a bit surprised by when I looked at those stats. But they're still not awful with them either, with 6 goals coming from set pieces so far this season. But even still, their physical side, which I really, really hope our lads will be ready and prepared for, because it will be a bloody tough game. It will be a tough game against a good team, against a very good team in some aspects of football, I guess. But my score prediction is still going to be a win. I have to stay confident. You know, we have to keep winning. I do believe we will finish within the top 4, whether it's 3rd or 4th. I don't know, and I don't really care that much either, if I'm going to be totally honest with you, but my score prediction is still going to be a win, but a more narrow win than I've predicted recently, as I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for the Chelsea. Yep, that's what I'm going to go for, and to be honest, guys, I think I'm just going to leave it here. You know, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I really, really do hope so. If you did, make sure you smash the like button on this video. Like I said in the beginning already, every little like helps because it pushes the video out to more viewers. So drop a like if you enjoyed the content, if you're excited for the game tomorrow. And just drop a like if you want to make me happy, because a couple of more likes on these videos that I put a lot of work into do make me happy. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. I said that at the start. Subscribe if you haven't already, if you're new here, and tell everyone you know to subscribe as well. That'd be massively appreciated. And of course, leave me your thoughts ahead of the game down in the comment section below. Your predicted lineups, your score predictions, and anything else you have to add to what I said. Also, let me know down in the comments below. But yeah, that's been it from me. Thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea. Very excited for another big game tomorrow. And I'll see you when I see you.